Well, hello, welcome again to a reading through of Paul's epistle to the Romans, and I got up to the last chapter, chapter 16. This is an interesting chapter, and some scholars think that it may have been a later addition, but I'll leave it up to the commentaries to discuss all this. So he begins, Sun istemi de humin phoibain tena delphain hemon, usan, in brackets, kai diakonon tes ecclesias tes en kenkriais, hina autein pros dexes the en curio axios ton hagion, kai parasteti aute en hoan human pres de pragmati, kai ga aute prostatis polon, egenethe kai emu autu. Sun histemi, a word meaning to commend, generally so translated. So I commend to you Phoebe, our sister, being also, if you want to read the kai, diakonon. Now this is a masculine noun, but it's being used as a feminine here, and it means deacon. So people interested in issues of women's position in the church, very interested in this particular word being used here. So being a deacon of the church which is in Kenkrii. So Kenkrii is near Corinth. Hina, in order that pros dexaste, you might receive her in the Lord, axios ton hagion, probably slightly idiomatic here. It's worthily of the saints, literally. It's an adverb from axios, so often rendered in a manner worthy of the saints. Could also possibly be a partitive genitive, so it could be worthily among the saints is another alternative, but I don't think I've ever seen that translation. So in a manner worthy of the saints is the usual way it's rendered. Kai parastete, and literally stand beside her, so hence support her. En ho, another example here of where you've got the relative pronoun, which is agreeing with pragmati, coming before the actual noun. So you have to translate it something like, in the manner in which she might have need of you. So this is from credzo, to have need, and then we've got an arm with it with the subjunctive. So it's something like, in whatever matter she might have need of you. Kaiga aute parastatis. Prostatis. Prostatis is a very interesting word. It only occurs here. There's a masculine word, prostates, meaning a helper or an assistant. This is a female, grammatically a female form of that noun, and so it means a female helper. So for she herself has become an assistant or helper, but the emphasis being female, of many, and also of me myself. Emu autu for em autu. As passaste, Priscan kai Aquila tus sun ergus mu in Christo Jesu, hoitines hypotes psyches mu ton hiaton trakelon hyp ethekan, hois uk ego monos eucharisto alakai pasai hai ecclesiae ton ethnon, kai ten katoikon auton ecclesian. I'll just pause there because there's a full stop. So greet. Prisca is another form of Priscilla, it's the same person, and Aquilan, this is a Greek attempt to put Aquila into Greek. Aquila is a Latin word meaning an eagle, but his name's Aquila. Interestingly, these are husband and wife, they're Jewish, and interestingly, he puts the wife's name first before the husband, which is quite a rare thing to do in writings at this time. So, greet Prisca or Priscilla and Aquila, my fellow workers in Christ Jesus. Now, there's a slight difficulty here. Again, I'll leave you to look at the commentaries, but we know that in AD 52, which was before this letter was written, Priscilla and Aquila were forced as Jews to leave Rome. There was an edict in 52 AD that all Jews had to leave Rome, and they were forced to leave, as we know from elsewhere. They appear to have been living in Ephesus. So, yet here they appear to be actually in Rome. So I'll leave it to which is why some people think that this chapter is a later addition. Anyway, I'll leave it to the commentators to discuss and explain all the issues here. So they, my fellow workers in Christ Jesus, the very ones who, the main verb is hup ethekan, from hupo tithemi. So it's literally placed their own neck on behalf of my life. In other words, they subjected, perhaps to put this almost into Latin, who subjected their own neck, trachelon is a neck, we would say necks, on behalf of my life. We'd probably translate it who risked their own necks on my behalf, just to paraphrase it a little bit. Hois, for whom, uk ego monos, not only I give thanks, alakai, again, but also all the assemblies or churches of the Gentiles. And the church at their house. Now again, this church is mentioned elsewhere in the New Testament, but it's in Ephesus. Aspasis there, ep aineton, ton agapeton mu, hos est in aparche tes asias, eis Christon. Aspas there, Marian, hetis pola ekopiasin eis humas. So greet Epaenetus, my beloved, who is literally the first fruit of Asia in Christ, or with regard to Christ, perhaps in Christ. In other words, presumably he was the first Asian convert, I think is what he's saying here. Greet Miriam, perhaps Mary, don't know, I'm not sure we know who this is, who copy asen, this is from copy asdo. There is also a verb copy ao, it doesn't lengthen the alpha, maybe from that one actually. So copy ao to labour. So the very one who laboured, pola adverbial, muchly. So who laboured very much, eis humas, with regard to us. Aspas there, adronikon kai iunian, tus, and the next page is sung genes mu. So greet Andronicus and Eunice, tus sun genes mu, kai sun eich melotus mu, hoitinis eisen epistemoi entois apostolois, hoi kai pro emugeganan en Christo. So who are my sungenes? They're my kinsmen, in other words, they're fellow Jews, and sun, and then aikmelotos. Aikmelotos, probably seen before, it means captives, my fellow captives. The root of this is from aikme, which is a spear, and the aloe is connected with haliskami. So an aikmelotos was originally someone who was taken by the spear and hence a captive, and then he's put a sun with it. It's used quite metaphorically. It's not literal captive, but my fellow, it's literally my fellow captives, who are episemoi. Interesting word here. It means outstanding. You could translate it as highly significant to get the sign, the sign root into it. The sema here is connected with a sign. So if you translate it as highly significant, then that would capture the same root there, among the apostles. Hoi kai pro emoi gegonis en Christo, who also, had been in Christ, so we would say were, and there's a variant reading here as well, even before me, to get the kai in. So who even before me literally were in Christ. And there's a variant reading here. Aspases the pliaton ton agapeton mu en Christo. Aspases the urbanon ton sun ergon hemon. En Christo kai stakon ton agapeton mu. So greet ampliatos, my beloved in Christ. Greet Urbanos, our fellow worker in Christ, and Stakos, my beloved. Aspastes apellein ton dokimon en Christo. Aspaste tous ek ton Aristoboulou. So greet apelli, perhaps appellees, the dokimon, the respected, often translated just respected. It has the sense of, a bit like our expression, tried and true. If it's connected with this dokimazdo, to try to test something out and find that it's genuine. Often translated respected. Tried and true actually gets closer, I think, to the meaning of it. In Christ. And greet those ectone from among, it's really from the household of Aristobulus. So ectone, slightly idiomatic, from the household of Aristobulus. Aspases there, Herodiona ton sungenemu. Aspases there tous ectone narcissu tous ontas en kuro. So greet Herodion, my kinsman, and greet those, again from the house of Narcissus, the ones who are in the Lord. Aspas there truphinon kai truphosan tas copiosas in kurio. Aspases the persida ten agapeten, hetis pola ekopiasen en kuro. You'll notice quite a large number of women are mentioned in this section, which is interesting because they seem to have played an important role in the early church. So greet Tryphina, that's a female, and Tryphosa, another female, the ones having laboured. This is again a participle from copy ao. So this is a feminine accusative plural. The ones having laboured in the Lord. Greet Persis, the beloved, again a female, who has laboured muchly in the Lord. Again from copy ao, to labour. Aspases there Rufon ton eklekton en kurio kai ten matera autu kai emu. Greet Rufus, the elect, the chosen one, in the Lord, and his mother and mine. Now, of course, this is not literal. It's not his real mother, of course, but he presumably thinks of her as though she were his mother. She obviously treats him in a motherly way. Very interesting that Paul never ever mentions his own family, his own relatives, his own parents. You get nothing about Paul's personal background here, which is very interesting given the close-knit nature generally of Jewish families. Anyway, so he refers to this mother of Rufus as being like his own mother, or as a mother to him. Aspases there as Kriton, Phlegonta Hermain, Patroban Herman, Kai tus son autois adelphus. So greet Asinkritos, Phlegon, Hermius, Patrobas, presumably Hermas, and those brothers with them. And I think these are probably all male names. So it's Phlegon and Hermes, I should have said there, yeah, Hermes, Patrobas, Hermas, and the other brothers with them. So greet Philologus and Julia, this is Greek for Julia, and Nereus, also his sister. So he is male, female, male, and Olympa, or perhaps Olympas, I think is the name, Olympas, and all those saints with them. Aspaste Allelus in Philemati Hagio, Aspadzonte humas hai ecclesiae passai to Christu. So greet one another. This is the instrumental use of N with a holy kiss, philema. Phileo, the verb that you know as meaning to love, originally meant to kiss. It's used in both senses in earlier Greek. So phileo often meant to kiss, and philema is just an abstract third declension noun formed from that. So greet one another with a holy kiss. All the churches of Christ are greeting you. And that's the first part of chapter 16.